Good morning, this is Randy. I did a video several months back about the decrepit narcissists' needs change as they get older. Their supply needs change. And it was mostly reading an article by Kelly Hernandez. It's a pretty popular video. I get a lot of views on it. So I have to give Kelly a lot of credit for that. By the way, she seems to have changed her blog to psychopath-awareness.wordpress.com, and her first name is Kelli, not Y. So if you wanted to look that up, another viewer just asked for it, so I just found that, and it looks to be a pretty comprehensive website. Okay, so the reason I'm making this video is because I'm suspicious, and my intuition is telling me that the narcissist, my ex-narcissist, that his needs for supply, his supply needs have changed once again. Since he left me, they changed at that time, and he got married to a 26-year-old, and a month later, after he had certain needs. He had needs for energy, he had needs for someone who was productive and who worked. She was working when she met him, but of course she doesn't work now. She's just a freelance artist. And he married her. And 1 month after he married her, his father died, and his father left him quite a nice inheritance. His mother is still living, so he's got plenty more to come. But his father, did that so that the kids would, have money to start off with and to get themselves through until, of course, the mother dies and leaves them the rest of it. So I guess what I'm saying is his needs changed because his situation changed. And when his situation changed, that was just 3 weeks actually after he got hitched again. And so rather than anticipate that ahead of time, that his needs would change, or when you get married, it's supposed to be about the person that you're with, and it shouldn't really matter when your own situation changes, whether you lose money, gain money, get sick, remain healthy. All of that is supposed to endure the relationship. But my intuition is telling me that the narcissist now realizes that he has nothing in common with the starving artist that he married. And now that he's got money, he's not a very generous person, and I think it's put him in a position of really feeling kind of powerful, having all this money in the bank, but stuck, because you're not allowed to mix your inheritance money with your spouse if you want it to remain yours. For example, in the case of a divorce, if you get an inheritance but you mix it with your spouse's for the bills and use it for bills that you accumulate through marriage, such as property taxes or anything that can be considered shared, like home improvements, things done on the house, probably vehicles, vacations, utility bills. If you start using that money, or if you put it into a joint account, which I know he hasn't done, but here's the thing. I know he wants to use the money, but I think he knows this about mixing it, and that I don't think he's wanting to mix the money, because then in the case of a divorce, she would get some of it. And I know he doesn't want to share his money like that. He might share with somebody the benefits he gets from his money, but he does not want to share any kind of savings. And I don't blame him in a way, because he doesn't work, so he needs that money to get him through, the rest of his life. And he also has 4 children that, are always going to daddy and needing money. Not necessarily that he gives it, but he has other people that are actually his flesh and blood that need the money more than this 26-year-old starving artist person that he decided to get married to. God knows why he decided to actually follow through with the marriage. It makes no sense to me when they were living together and there was no reason to get married. But, the fool that he is, he did that on impulse. I think the marriage was planned maybe 6 weeks before they did it, so it wasn't really planned or well thought out on his part. So basically now, this girl is feeling more secure in the relationship since she's married. So she's going out and doing the things that she likes to do. She's going to art fairs and showing her paintings, and she's kind of out and about. She's reconnected with friends that she had isolated from before. And she's into techno music, and she's into the celebrities and pop culture. She's a hipster. So what attracted him to her at the beginning was this energy, and this is a person who can make me feel young. And now I think that, based on the energies that are coming out through the planets and the times changing and people awakening, and the fact that, this narcissist has been in his midlife crisis probably for about 7 years, and they do say that midlife crises take 7 years sometimes to get through, sometimes longer even. But I'm not saying he's not a narcissist, but I think narcissists still do go through a midlife crisis. They go through the same things other people go through, except it's more intense and it's even more wacky than a normal midlife crisis. So at this point, I think he's realizing and regretting actually getting married, and getting married to this 26-year-old person who has nothing in common with him. So she's going out to these events, and he is not the type to want to go to these events, believe me. Even if he is or was mirroring her for a while and, trying to feel young. Well, he's been now with her for 3 years, and, that is very old. Their interests are not the same. He's not into music, let alone techno music. Come on now. He's 49 years old. He's not into that. He's not into going and sitting in a booth all weekend, trying to support and assist his wife to sell her art at different art fairs in the summer. No, I'm sorry. He likes outdoor activities, swimming, beaches. He likes the things that I like. He still does like the same things that, he liked when we were together. Um, he likes campfires, and he's pretty much a homebody. He likes nature a lot, however. And he's a TV junkie. Um, very few older men, anyway, that age, are gonna, kind of, I don't know, go out and support their young wife doing things that they don't like to do, sitting in the heat all day, in a booth, when they could be sitting in their home in the air conditioning and uh, watching politics on TV. Anyway, that's the um, situation that my ex now finds himself in, and I've just been having a lot of intuitive feelings that he's regretting it, which I told him that he would. And the narcissist is really late on getting it. They don't anticipate their actions, and they go full force on them, and they just figure they're going to be able to rationalize them later on. But this huge mistake, he's in a mess. He's in a complete mess, and I don't know what he's going to do to try to resolve it, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of discord over there at in that house, because the narcissist doesn't like the partner leaving and going off and doing their own thing. And I mean, if they're making money and the narcissist needs money, they may be able to accept it. But if they're just going off doing their own hobby and pursuing their own interests, and the interests are very different from them, and they want that person to be with them all the time. They don't want that person to go out and do other things. They keep tabs on you. They take it as a insult for you to like other things than what they like, and for you to actually want to do something away from them. And they become resentful, that in order to be with you, they would have to, compromise with their own interests and develop your interests. Now, the narcissist is not going to just, once you're in the devaluation phase, which she must be in by now, because that idealization phase doesn't last too long. It lasted long enough to get a marriage out of it. And who knows why that decision was made, but the marriage is less than a year, and she's pursuing her own interests because she finally feels secure. And what happens after that is pretty much downhill. So I'm just kind of laying the foundation here for an outsider looking in. And I am thinking that this particular narcissist supply needs have changed once again. So I think things are changing over there with that relationship, and who knows what the next step will be. But it's very interesting. And thanks for listening today. Have a great weekend.